Good evening, and welcome to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm Nicodemus, and I will be your host as we take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. And remember, none of this is financial advice. And it's 10 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday, July 26th, 2023. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we have no sponsors, no hidden agendas, and no BS. But we do have the news, so let's talk about that. Tonight's journey is a roller coaster of digital daring and deception. We're hopping continents from Nigeria's rocky road to digital currency to Palau's soaring stablecoin success. We'll then touch down in Namibia to glimpse their latest legal pivot into the crypto realm. The BRICS bloc is turning heads with a bold move that could shake up the global financial order, leaving the United States dollar quaking in its boots. And just when you thought it could not get any more exciting, we'll turn the spotlight into the wild, wild west of Tennessee, where a couple's blessing turned out to be a curse for over 100 people. Finally, we'll check in on the Celsius founder and former CEO, Alex Mashinsky, who's feeling the heat from the Department of Justice. Buckle up, this is going to be a bumpy ride. The Central Bank of Nigeria, or CBN, is shaking up things with its eNaira model. Their goal? To get more people to use this central bank digital currency. The acting governor of CBN, Foloshodun Shonubi, announced this change on the bank's Twitter account. Nigeria has been pushing for broader adoption of the eNaira since its introduction in October 2021. And while the number of eNaira wallets has increased significantly, from 1 million to 13 million between October 2022 and March of this year, it is still a drop in the ocean for a country with a population nearing 224 million. Now, let's look at the challenges in the bank's response. The eNaira, as it stands, isn't exactly user-friendly. The CBN reported the value of eNaira transactions up until March this year was a mere 22 billion naira. That's the equivalent of $48 million at the time. This is in a country with a $220 billion formal economy that is heavily reliant on cash. The infrastructure for extensive eNaira use is lacking, with too few merchants accepting it. In response, the CBN has upgraded its eNaira app to enable contactless payments, as local news outlet The Sun reported earlier in July. However, the bank has been tight-lipped about the specifics of the changes to the eNaira model. This move by the CBN clearly indicates the struggle central banks face in implementing digital currencies. It's not enough to just introduce a CBDC. The infrastructure and ease of use are critical for adoption. That's a lesson that all real cryptocurrencies need to learn from CBDCs. The eNaira struggle reminds us that the road to digital currency adoption is fraught with challenges. It's a battle between the new world of digital currencies and the old world of cash economies. And right now, it seems that cash is still king, at least in Nigeria. I say that because shifting our focus from the African continent to the Pacific Ocean, it's not just the CBN that's been busy with digital currency initiatives. Not everyone is struggling with their digital rollout, it seems. In stark contrast to Nigeria, the Pacific island of Palau has successfully launched a pilot project for a United States dollar-backed stablecoin. Meet the Palau stablecoin, or PSC for short, affectionately named the Kluk. Now, the Kluk is a bird of a different feather, being minted on the XRP ledger, which is a popular choice for the new generation of digital currencies. The first to feel the flutter of the Kluk? The nation's government employees. This comes after a period of testing with volunteers keen to spread their wings and make purchase using various devices. Now, this isn't Palau's first foray into the digital realm. The country already has a digital residency program and issues IDs supported by Cryptic Labs that's available as an NFT on the Binance BNB blockchain. This launch could revolutionize how goods and services are paid in Palau, providing its citizens with greater financial access. It's also a testament to the growing influence of Ripple's CBDC platform, which is now being used by numerous governments around the globe for their CBDC projects. The evolution of the Kluk serves as a vivid contrast to the struggles of Nigeria's eNaira. It's the tale of two islands, so to speak, and highlights the varied progress made in digital currencies. While one faces hurdles, the other, albeit smaller, seems to be soaring high. These initiatives were part of a broader narrative of the increasing acceptance and adoption of digital currencies, even at the national level. Just like the eNaira, it is crucial to remember that the Kluk is also a pilot project, and its success is not guaranteed. So, as we see, the journey to digital currency adoption is fraught with challenges and achievements alike. The eNaira and the Kluk serve as potent reminders of the dynamic and evolving landscape of digital currencies. This is the new age of money, and it seems those who fail to adapt may find themselves left behind. Now, let's leave the shores of Nigeria and Palau and journey to the dunes of Namibia for our next story. In a significant move, the government of Namibia has officially moved its Virtual Assets Bill into law. The Namibia Virtual Assets Act 2023 is set to designate a regulatory authority to oversee the virtual asset industry in the country. The act aims to regulate and supervise virtual asset service providers and related activities. It also seeks to protect consumers, prevent market abuse, and curb money laundering. This is the first bill in the country that outlines how crypto should be treated. It was passed by the National Assembly last month. The act was put into the Gazette of the Republic of Namibia on Friday, which means it's now law. However, it's, quote, not effective yet, according to Diana Vivo. She's an associate at law firm Ellis Shungawa Incorporated, a part of DLA Piper Africa. She said, quote, it will only become effective on a date to be determined by the Minister of Finance of Namibia. This move comes as nations around the world, like the European Union, the UK, and South Korea, are ramping up their regulation of crypto-related activities. South Africa recently opened up a crypto licensing regime. We're going to be talking about South Africa in a bit. The Namibian government's decision to regulate virtual asset service providers is a significant shift from its original 2017 decision to ban cryptocurrency exchanges. This move is seen as a positive step toward embracing the potential of cryptocurrency and their underlying blockchain technology. However, it is essential to note that the country's central bank, the Bank of Namibia, maintains its position that cryptocurrencies will not hold legal tender status in the country. That means while crypto exchanges may operate, cryptocurrencies cannot be used as a substitute for the country's official currency. Now, before we jump into our next story, if you're finding these insights valuable, make sure to follow and subscribe so you never miss a beat. Now let's turn our gaze to the BRICS bloc and their latest push. The BRICS economic bloc, consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, made a bold move by inviting 69 leaders to its upcoming summit. This includes all African heads of state and the political heads of major global South bodies. Interestingly, Western countries such as the US, the UK, and France have not been invited. This summit is scheduled to take place in Johannesburg from August 22nd to the 24th and is expected to be the largest yet. Anil Suklal is the South African diplomat in charge of BRICS relations. He revealed that more than 40 countries have expressed interest in joining the BRICS group, with 22 nations already submitting official applications. This year's summit will focus on fostering development on the African continent and advancing the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Nikki Weimar is the chief economist of the South African financial services firm Nedbank. She shared her analysis of how a common BRICS currency could compete with the US dollar. She emphasized that to achieve this goal, quote, you need foreign exchange reserves and you need the trust of the investment community. The US dollar became the global reserve currency due to the backing of the Federal Reserve, which the market trusted. However, China is the only country in the BRICS economic bloc to carry such a reserve currency. But China has capital controls, which is a barrier to having a reserve currency. Weimar stressed that China would have to undergo significant financial liberalization if it really wanted to compete with the dollar. This is a significant development in the world of international finance. The BRICS nations are making a clear statement of their intent to reduce their dependency on the US dollar. The fact that they're inviting a large number of leaders to their summit, all while excluding Western countries, is a clear indication of their intent to shift the balance of economic power. However, the path to achieving a common BRICS currency that can compete with the US dollar is fraught with challenges. It requires not just foreign exchange reserves, but also the trust of the international investment community. So the question remains whether the BRICS nations, particularly China, are willing to make the necessary changes to gain that trust. Now, that's what I call shaking up the global financial order. But folks, the world of crypto doesn't just revolve around the big guns. Sometimes it's the small players that make the most noise. Remember to hit like and follow if you're enjoying the ride. Now, let's unveil the scam that rocked Tennessee. Michael and Amanda Griffiths are a couple from Clarksville, Tennessee. They've been charged by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission for allegedly defrauding over 100 people. They did this through a digital assets commodity pool they named Blessings of God Through Crypto. Now, one thing to know about the Griffiths, they own a real estate company. They raised over $6 million by reaching out to colleagues and customers, offering them the opportunity to pool funds to trade digital asset commodity futures contracts. The Griffiths allegedly told their customers that their funds would be safe and under their control, promising high gains from trading crypto futures on the Apex trading platform. They even claim to have the advice of a person identified only as Coach Wendy. The CFTC alleges the couple leveraged their personal and professional relationships developed through their real estate business to convince victims that the pool scheme was legitimate. The commodity pool claimed to allow investors to bet on the future price of crypto, and the couple promised exaggerated profits without disclosing potential risks. The Griffiths allegedly commingled their pool with the personal funds. Pool participants would transfer funds to Michael Griffith's account, who then transferred that to his personal account on Coinbase. From there, he would convert the funds into digital asset commodities like Bitcoin or Tether and transfer them to the Apex trading platform to trade futures. The Griffiths were able to raise over $6 million in just 6 months, from July 2022 to January 2023. They were able to do this despite having no trading or any other relevant experience. This raises questions about the due diligence conducted by the investors before they decided to invest in the pool. The Griffiths convinced over 100 people to send them money for that commodity pool. The CFTC alleges that not a single trade was ever conducted. Instead, around $4 million of the pooled funds were transferred to the digital wallets outside the Griffiths' control, and more than $1 million was misappropriated to pay off personal debt and expensive items over several months. This included $10,000 in college tuition for family members, $20,000 for an all-terrain vehicle, and $335,000 to pay off credit card debt. In light of these allegations, it is clear the Griffiths exploited the trust and enthusiasm of the investors for their personal gain. This case reminds us of the risks of investing in unregulated and opaque investment schemes, particularly those promising high returns with little to no risk. It's a classic example of why it's so important to conduct thorough due diligence before investing, especially in the volatile and often misunderstood world of crypto. Now, with every blessing, there comes a lesson, and this one's a doozy. The world of crypto can be a wild west, but even the outlaws need to follow some rules. And speaking of rules, our next story is about someone who may have broken a few too many. If you're enjoying our journey into the heart of the crypto world, don't forget to subscribe. The U.S. Department of Justice requested a federal judge to grant them 6 to 8 weeks to produce evidence for their case against Alex Mashinsky, the founder and former CEO of crypto lender Celsius. The DOJ attorneys stated that they needed this time to process a large amount of Celsius's corporate records and communications. This includes 1,200 videos of Mashinsky's and other Celsius executives' Ask Me Anything sessions, many of which are more than an hour long. Mashinsky was arrested earlier this month and pleaded not guilty to securities fraud, commodities fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to manipulate the price of Cell, which is Celsius's token. He is represented by Mark Mukasey. The next conference date has been scheduled for October 3rd by Judge John G. Coletti of the District Court of the Southern District of New York. The trial date is still to be determined. Mashinsky's team has been granted extra time to satisfy the terms of his $40 million bail. The case against Mashinsky is a significant development in the crypto world. The charges brought against him are serious and could have far-reaching implications for the industry, particularly for crypto lending platforms. The DOJ's request for additional time to process evidence indicates the complexity of the case and the amount of data involved. The inclusion of the Ask Me Anything sessions as part of the evidence suggests that the DOJ is conducting a thorough investigation into Mashinsky's activities and the operations of Celsius. The arrest and subsequent charges against Mashinsky are a clear example of the regulatory scrutiny that crypto businesses face. While the crypto industry has often been seen as a space of financial freedom and innovation, this case underscores the fact that it is not immune to legal oversight. It's a wake-up call for anyone who believes that the industry can operate outside the bounds of traditional financial regulations. The government's actions in this case could be seen as an attempt to rein in the Wild West nature of the crypto market and as a warning to other crypto businesses to ensure they comply with all the relevant rules and regulations. The distrust towards government and central banks may be warranted, but it is clear they still hold significant power in shaping the future of the crypto industry. Tonight, we witnessed Nigeria struggle to push its CBDC into mainstream use, hitting roadblocks in infrastructure and user experience. In contrast, Palau's Kluk stablecoin took flight, showcasing the potential of well-executed digital currency initiatives. And these are lessons those interested in implementing real cryptocurrencies should learn. Know your enemy. Namibia took a significant step in the crypto world by moving its virtual assets bill into law, setting up a regulatory framework for the industry. Meanwhile, the BRICS bloc showed their intent to shake up the global financial order by inviting a legion of leaders to their summit, leaving the Western countries out in the cold. In Tennessee, we saw the dark side of crypto with the blessings of God through crypto scam, highlighting the risks of unregulated investment schemes and the importance of due diligence. Lastly, we checked in on the saga of Alex Mashinsky and Celsius, a stark reminder of the regulatory scrutiny in the crypto world and the potential consequences of non-compliance. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe, leave a rating, or maybe a review. And in the meantime, we'll see you tomorrow night.